Tonight on News Live at 6, the first couple of letters went up on the JMA Wireless Dome today. We'll have the latest on this brand new sign.
Plus, New York State ended its mask mandate for patients, staff, and visitors yesterday. I'll break down how the mandate is being adopted at local hospitals.
And plenty of students were outside today in t-shirts. We're in the mid-50s here in Syracuse in February, but will these temperatures stick around? All that and more on News Live at 6, which starts right now.
Is CitrusTV News Live at 6, your campus news leader.
If you're going to the doctor, you are no longer required to wear your mask. Good evening, I'm Josh Myers.
And I'm Louise Rath. In just a bit, our Cora Mayor Costa has more for us on the state's latest move.
New at 6 tonight, SU has a new member for the Office of Strategic Initiatives and the Office of Diversity and Inclusion. Longtime law professor Suzette Melendez joins both offices as a faculty fellow. Melendez has lengthy leadership experience. In addition to teaching law, Melendez has served the University Senate. In her new position, Melendez will serve as a faculty leader for affinity groups. She says, quote, "This is such an important focal point for the university. I look forward to contributing to the momentum to advance equity and inclusion efforts designed to dismantle biased systems that act as barriers to learning, belonging, and engagement on our campus and beyond."
And the Barnes Center is asking students to fill out its latest health and wellness survey. The university says the survey takes less than 10 minutes to complete. Students who fill out the survey may win a $75 Amazon gift card or an early enrollment date for the fall term. The questions ask about both mental and physical health, and the survey also asks students about substance use. The university claims all responses will be recorded anonymously.
And as we mentioned earlier, the construction of the JMA Wireless Dome sign is underway. The 32-ton sign stands at 47 feet tall. That's actually slightly taller than that famous Hollywood sign near Los Angeles. The construction comes as part of Syracuse Athletics' 10-year partnership with JMA. Athletic Director John Wildak calls the sign another exciting moment in our partnership with JMA Wireless.
And the dome may be getting yet another upgrade. The Syracuse Landmark Preservation Board reviewed a new business project proposal for the Miron Victory Court. The structure would be constructed between the eastern edge of the JMA Wireless Dome and the western edge of the Barnes Center. This would eliminate the exterior walkway, making it an interior hallway connecting the two buildings. The 26,000 square foot addition to the dome would serve as a space for pre- and post-game gatherings.
An iSchool associate professor is being honored at the national level. Carlos Enrique Casedo Bastidas has earned a 3-year, $1.2 million grant from the National Science Foundation for his work in electric engineering. Bastidas' work involves the spectrum consumption model, which defines how a wireless transmitter or receiver uses the electromagnetic spectrum. And the ultimate goal of such a project is to define how wireless activity can be used within the limited electromagnetic spectrum.
And student leadership on campus is advocating for a clearer excused absence policy. Student Association President David Bruin wants the policy to factor in student mental health. The university currently does not list mental health as a legitimate reason to miss class. And according to SA Vice President Adia Santos, students tend to only get 1 to 3 unexcused absences per course, something she says needs to change.
The mask mandate for health facilities throughout the state of New York just ended, and as of yesterday, healthcare facilities are no longer requiring patients, visitors, and staff to wear masks. More on the mandate is CitrusTV reporter Cora Mayor Costa. Cora.
Thank you, Josh and Louise. New York State Department of Health has decided not to request a renewal of masking requirements. This comes after New York State started loosening mandates in September of 2022, plus decreasing level of COVID infections and hospitalizations. All patients, staff, and visitors in hospitals and other healthcare settings are not required to wear masks, depending on transmission rate levels. I spoke with Yana Shah, a professor of pediatrics from Upstate University Hospital, on how the transmission rates are collected in Onondaga County.
You know, the rates are issued once a week, typically on Thursday. CDC collects the data through COVID-19 tracker. They post transmission level weekly. And based on that information, we will be able to adjust our mask wear requirement.
Professor Shaw reports Onondaga County is at a red level, meaning there are high levels of transmission. Masks are still currently required at local hospitals like upstate. New York's acting health commissioner, Dr. James McDonald, sees this development for healthcare facilities as a way to move towards a transition. Reporting for Citrus TV News, I'm Cora Maricasa. Back to you guys.
Hey, Cora. Thank you. And let's take a quick look at our weather. I mean, it has just been so warm.
Today.
Feels like it's April already here in Syracuse.
Yeah, I know. I was walking around today, sunglasses on, not wearing the parka, no gloves, hands outside the pockets. Felt good to be out there today.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to believe it's mid-February in Syracuse, New York. We're getting 40s, 50 degrees out here.
It's wild. Well, hopefully it's here to stay. I'm not sure what the weather forecast looks like, but outside on the weather deck right now, Peter Elliott joins us now with a look at your weather.
Hey, Josh and Louise, no coat, no problem. It's rare that you can get away without wearing a big coat here in Syracuse in February, but that's what we saw students doing all over campus today. Just walking the promenade and the quad. We saw students in t-shirts, and you can get away with that because we're in the mid-50s today. Hard to believe that's what these temperatures are like the day after the Super Bowl. But especially with the winds, it was a nice breeze today. Now tonight, it's gotten a little cooler, especially as the breeze has picked up. We're kind of in the mid-teens right now, so it's feeling a little bit cooler. You might want to bundle up just a little bit, but it feels like a real fall spring here in Syracuse right now. And we'll see these temperatures get even warmer as the week goes along on Tuesday and Wednesday, especially. We could get up into the 60s, but as we see overnight tonight, these temperatures will dip down into right around the mid-30s, but it won't feel too bad again. You might want to put on an extra layer or two, but no need for that big parka or big coat that you were wearing a weekend or two ago, because we're feeling really good here in central New York. Once again, those temperatures could get better as the week goes along, seeing in the 50s or 60s. And again, the average high in central New York for this time of year, around 34 degrees. So what we saw today is extraordinarily abnormal for this time of year here in Syracuse. But hey, we'll take it. Nice welcome change of pace from the snow and the cold here in the 315. For now, I'll send it back to you, Walker and Louise, from the windy but pleasant Citrus TV weather deck. Guys?
Peter, thank you. A mural was unveiled at 308 Otisco Street Saturday afternoon, featuring 4 young victims of street violence in Syracuse. The mural is named Playground in Heaven and includes drawings of Rashad Walker Jr., Dior Harris, Kihari Blue, and Brexiali Torres Ortiz.
Hassan Bloodworth collaborated to create the mural. Bloodworth said that violence has been prevalent in Syracuse and wanted something in the community to show togetherness. And one of the staples of Syracuse's skyline is up for sale. The iconic Genesee Street Crown Plaza is listed for auction on the digital real estate marketplace LoopNet. According to the site, the hotel has a total assessment price of $10.1 million. The hotel, located within walking distance of the Syracuse campus, accommodates nearly 300 parties at a time.
And homebuyer.com found that Syracuse is among the top 10 most affordable cities to buy a house in 2023. Syracuse ranked number 6 in the study. The total cost of homeownership in Syracuse is $2,065. Other cities in the area made the list, with Rochester at 19 and Buffalo at 37, but no city ranked higher than Syracuse.
And a pair of Cayuga County grandparents will get their money back after falling for a scam. Police say they recovered over $25,000 from a Syracuse Airbnb occupied by a man posing as their grandson. Well, we all know how that turned out. He isn't the grandson. The scammers allegedly called the couple 4 times, demanding more money each time. 3 different people have been charged in the case for 3rd-degree grand larceny and 5th-degree conspiracy. Police say it's possible more people fell for that scam. Law enforcement encourages anyone with information to call 911.
And state troopers say a 2-year-old boy and a young couple are dead after being trapped in a house fire in the Adirondacks this weekend. 3 additional people were inside the house when the fire broke out, and they were able to escape safely. Clinton County's Emergency Services Director says he does not know how the couple became trapped inside the home, and troopers say the fire is still under investigation, but foul play is not suspected.
Syracuse murder suspect is in custody today. Police say DNA evidence from the steering wheel swabs led to 26-year-old suspect Jesse Outley's arrest. Outley has been charged with second-degree murder and second-degree criminal possession of a weapon for his alleged role in the shooting death of 11-month-old Dior Harris. Baby Dior is currently the youngest known victim of gun and street violence in Syracuse's history.
Turning now, good news today for Lake Ontario fishermen. The New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, along with the Ontario Ministry for Natural Resources and Forestry, will deposit more salmon into the Great Lake ahead of the 2023 fishing season. Both parties agreed to a 10% stocking increase in Chinook salmon. The decision means just under 1 million fish will be stocked, and the two sides used fish size to make the decision. According to the department's, larger salmon indicate a predator-prey imbalance, with bigger fish symbolizing an abundance of prey and lack of salmon. And coming up after the break, reluctance, how many still fear using public transportation due to safety concerns.
And how Governor Hochul plans to compete with Hollywood for television and movie business. Stay with us.
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry, I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the CitrusTV newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at CitrusTV News, your campus news leader.
Welcome back to News Live at 6. New York could be approaching its first use of the death penalty in 60 years. The prosecution in a Halloween bike path killing that left 8 people dead are calling for the death penalty to be used.
Sayfullo Saipov was convicted last month of killing 8 people by driving a rental truck down a bike path. Saipov was convicted of 28 counts of crimes, including murder in aid of racketeering and support of a foreign terrorist organization. The minimum sentence Saipov faces is life in prison.
Fewer women are using the New York City subway because of an increase in safety concerns that began during the pandemic. The Metropolitan Transportation Authority doesn't track ridership by gender, so it's unclear whether women aren't riding the subway or if they've been slower to return than men.
Some women have said they've begun to use taxis or ride bikes, and some say they only travel during the day or with a friend.
New York is planning to increase tax breaks for movie and TV studios filming in the state. This is all part of New York's plan to compete for business with Hollywood. In Governor Hochul's proposed budget, the total available for tax credit would rise from $420 to $700 million.
The state would also allow for studios to claim up to 30% as non-taxed production costs. The productions in upstate New York would also be able to get an additional 10% credit boost. These credits would run through 2034 if approved.
Several pedestrians were injured in New York by a man driving a U-Haul. The New York City Fire Department says 2 of those people are in critical condition. The truck was speeding through the Bay Ridge neighborhood until it was stopped by police.
The police stopped the truck more than 3 miles away near the entrance to a tunnel leading from Brooklyn to Manhattan, and the suspect is now in police custody.
The latest now, North American Aerospace Defense Command generals are calling the number of objects shot down over North America in the last week unprecedented for peacetime. Now, another object was shot down yesterday, the 4th in 8 days. NORAD says the military is on heightened alert after the first Chinese balloon was discovered.
So far, the Pentagon says no objects have posed a security threat, but they are not ruling anything out, and that includes UFOs. The government is making it clear that while they constantly monitor for unknown objects on radar, the increased aggression is out of an abundance of caution.
New details now in Turkey. A little girl was rescued after being trapped after 7.5 days. Several other people were saved today, including a 13-year-old boy trapped for almost 8 days.
The BBC reports that rescues are becoming more rare due to how long the human body can survive without water, how much airspace a person has, and the severity of their injuries. The death toll passed 35,000 today.
And Mexico's defense ministry said yesterday that they have arrested a top cartel member. Ovidio Guzman is accused of leading production of fentanyl in the Mexican state of Sinaloa. Fentanyl has killed thousands here in the U.S. And Guzman is also being accused of producing methamphetamine pills as well as the transfer of cocaine into the United States.
This comes as fentanyl exposures and deaths are increasing all across the country. In Dallas last week, 3 students died and 6 were hospitalized after a fentanyl overdose. Since September, the area has seen 10 instances of fentanyl overdose in students aged 13 to 17.
And still ahead on News Live at 6, we saw temperatures in the mid-50s today. Will those stick around for the rest of the week? I'll have your answer coming up in my full 5-day forecast. Stay with us.
Welcome to my house. Everybody's pretty tired of each other. The walls were closing in. Clearly a case of too much family, too close, 24/7. If this sounds like your house, try going someplace new. YourLifeYourVoice.org. You'll find lots of ideas to help you handle the family stresses of being confined to close quarters. YourLifeYourVoice.org. It could help you find a little more breathing room.
From the CitrusTV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
Welcome back to News Live at 6. No, your eyes are not deceiving you. You are seeing 5s and 6s in your forecast in February. How about it? Unbelievable temperatures this time of year, especially on Wednesday, getting up into the 60s, and we're going to see a lot of sun too. That's going to make it feel even warmer. It really feels like a fall spring. For people from cold weather areas know that it always gets like this right around this time of year, but this feels a little bit early. In mid-February, we're seeing temperatures in the 60s and 50s. Again, could see some rain on Thursday, occasional showers throughout the day, and Friday could see a little bit of snow, but not a ton. So far this February, we have not had a major snowfall event, and that'll likely continue to be the case until next week. We could see more chances of significant snow next week. And then on Saturday, hey, it doesn't matter what the temperature is because we're going to be inside the dome for that big Duke game. Again, I just want to underscore how high these temperatures are for this time of year. Once again, the high for this year, the average is 34 degrees, and we're about 20 degrees above that. And again, Wednesday could be the high water mark. We're not likely to see any significant snow this week either. Friday could see those couple flurries, but nothing major for this time of year. Pretty remarkable weather for this time of year, and that could persist again. Later on in the full next 10 days or so, we could see temperatures hovering around the freezing point, but again, nothing too crazy. Josh and Louise, back to you.
Peter, thank you. Well, it's a good thing the weather was so nice over the weekend. The animals at the Rosamond Gifford Zoo were able to have a fun Sunday yesterday. Families flooded the zoo to see their favorite animals receive sweet treats right ahead of Valentine's Day.
Wow, how sweet is that,
They're
Elise?
so cute. Look at that elephant.
Those animals are so cute. I mean, Valentine's Day, right around the corner, just tomorrow. I mean, what are you going to be doing for Valentine's Day?
I actually have no class tomorrow, so I'll take care of myself, get the self-care out of the way during the day, and then spend time with my boyfriend tomorrow night.
That's so sweet.
How about you?
I mean, I don't really have many plans. You know, Tuesday's a very busy day for me, so probably
opposites.
Go to class, do everything I need to do. Have some time to myself. Maybe listen to some Billy Joel, one of my favorite artists.
Good, you like Billy Joel.
We'll see what happens. But you know who also loves Billy Joel? Our sports anchor, Ashley Winskowski. Ashley, what do we got in sports?
That I do, Josh. Thank you. Well, 3 games in the Dome this weekend for men's and women's lacrosse. Did the Orange go 3 for 3 in the win column? We'll have the answer when we return. Plus, it was a Super Bowl to remember last night. All that and more when we come back.
Here's to the straggly ones, the lopsided ones, the first ones. Yeah, I miss my beard ones. But hey, I look good with this ones. But no way he's grown that in the weak ones. The black, brown, red, and gray ones. That one. The itchy ones. The never forgotten ones. The ones grown by Dad. The ones grown for Dad. The started late ones. The absolutely filthy ones. The drawn-on ones, the finger ones, the pin ones. The I nearly didn't do it this year ones. And the yeah, why not ones. They all raise awareness, raise funds, start conversations, and save lives. Because whatever you grow will save a bro. Learn more at Movember.com.
Meet Norm. He lives with anxiety, but with the help of this latest innovation from Be Normal, he can be normal, just like everyone else. With the swipe of a finger, you can project happiness, confidence, machismo. Why settle for being real when you can be normal? The Normal Maker. New from Be Normal. This item doesn't really work because there's no such thing as normal. We're all different. What we like, how our brains work. In fact, 1 in 5 of us live with mental illness. Don't filter who you are. Start by talking to someone you trust. And remember, there is no normal.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
And now, your CitrusTV Sports Report.
Remember when we were wondering after the season opener if Syracuse men's lacrosse had enough offense to stay afloat? Well, I think they've answered that question. Welcome into sports, I'm Ashley Winskowski. The Orange certainly made a statement this weekend to the tune of 2 wins in 2 days, thanks to putting up 35 goals. Yeah, 35. A 20-goal outburst came first on Friday night against UAlbany, where 10 different players got involved in the scoring action. Freshman Joey Spallina led the way with 5 scores, including his first collegiate hat trick. Jackson Burtwhistle, Owen Hiltz, and Cole Kirst also had multi-goal games, and Will Mark held strong between the pipes, recording 14 saves. This is a huge difference from just a year ago when the Orange traveled to the capital as favorites and were upset 14-12 by the Great Danes. And for the weekend sweep, SU wasted no time against Holy Cross. They cruised out to a 5-0 lead in the first 10 minutes of the game on Sunday. They would grab a 15-6 victory thanks to 5 more Joey Spallina goals as well as 4 from fellow freshman Finn Thompson. The 2 wins this weekend vaulted SU into the national ranks. This morning they were ranked number 16 in the USILA coaches poll. Up next, the Orange look to keep the undefeated streak going against none other than the defending national champs. SU will head down to Maryland to take on the Terrapins, who were stunned by Loyola this weekend and are still searching for their first win. I'll have full coverage for you on Twitter from College Park this Saturday. And the women's team solidified the winning weekend inside the Dome. The Orange defeated then number 4 Northwestern on Saturday by a score of 16-15. Megan Tyrell recorded 8 points on 2 goals and a career-high 6 assists. Senior Delaney Schweitzer started in goal for the Cuse and finished with a career-high 11 saves. The win pushed the Orange up a spot in the national ranks to number 4. They'll host number 2 Maryland this coming Friday inside the Dome. And over on the basketball court, the Orange came up short against number 10 Notre Dame in South Bend yesterday. At the end of the third quarter, they were up by 2, but the Fighting Irish pulled away in the game's final minutes to secure the win. Deja Fair led all scorers with 22 points, and Georgia Woolley had 17 points, 3 assists, and 3 rebounds. Felicia Leggett-Jack's squad will look to right the ship to finish out their road trip on Thursday night in Tallahassee. It will be the first time the Orange face number 19 Florida State this season. Tip-off is scheduled for 6 p.m. And for the second time in 4 years, the Kansas City Chiefs are Super Bowl champions. Down by 10 at halftime, the Chiefs scored 3 touchdowns on their first 3 possessions in the second half to complete the comeback. MVP Patrick Mahomes was spectacular in the second half, completing 13 of 15 passes for 93 yards and 2 scores, including a 26-yard scramble on what would become the game-winning drive. On the Eagles' end, Jalen Hurts was just as good as Mahomes, rushing for 3 touchdowns himself and throwing a 4th. He went 27 for 38 for 304 yards and a touchdown, while also taking 15 carries for 70 yards. The Chiefs became just the second team in NFL history to come back from a double-digit halftime deficit to win the Super Bowl.
Ashley Winskowski joins us now at the desk. Okay, so Patrick Mahomes did have a great second half. There's no sugarcoating that. It was fantastic. But what are your thoughts on that holding call with 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter?
Well, you know, my thoughts, Louise, is that I'm not an Eagles fan.
I'm not
so I think I'd have some different thoughts if I was. I think the
agree.
Eagles really just blew it at the end there. You know, they on one of those drives, they just had to punt, and on the other one, they had a field goal. So
the defense just couldn't hang on there at the end, could they?
No, that was the difference in that game.
That's definitely true. I mean, I personally am a Giants fan, so happy to see the Eagles lose this one.
Me and you both.
I'm sure Ashley could agree there.
For sure.
Yeah, thank you, Ashley, so much for joining us here at the desk. When we come back, we'll take one last look at your weather. Stay with us.
Lately, not my happy
to
place.
sports chat.
Everybody's pretty tired of each other. The parents were not themselves. My little brothers were morphing into small creatures. The walls were closing in. Clearly, a case of too much family, too close, 24/7. And there's a lot of that going around right now. If this sounds like your house, try going someplace new. YourLifeYourVoice.org. You'll find lots of ideas to help you handle the family stresses of being confined to close quarters. YourLifeYourVoice.org. It might not get you out of the house, but it could help you find a little more breathing room.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Welcome back to News Live at 6. When you wake up tomorrow, get ready to see the sun. It's going to get up into the 40s tomorrow. When you wake up, wear a couple layers, but you might not need a big parka tomorrow. But we'll see the sun throughout most of the day, especially through midday when it'll get into the right around the mid-40s. But guys, you won't need an umbrella tomorrow.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, it was probably just as warm as Glendale, Arizona yesterday. I mean,
I don't know about that.
Maybe not that close. But let's just talk real quick about the Super Bowl and, more importantly, the halftime show. I mean, Rihanna.
Oh, yeah. What'd you guys think?
I think she did a great job. I mean, the fact that she was a solo artist, the sole only person performing, I think that was really impressive.
Yeah, Ashley?
Yeah, I thought it was really impressive, especially for the fact that, she seems to be pregnant.
I know. So there was talk that she was going to have a guest, but this morning I put it together, the baby was the guest.
Yes, the baby
unannounced
was the
pregnancy was the
So
guest.
I guess it wasn't a solo performance after all, was it?
True.
Are you a Rihanna fan?
Of course. How could you not be? I mean, I think a lot of these Super Bowl acts, you kind of forget how many hits they truly have, but she kept going and going, and I was like, oh my God, that is a Rihanna song after all.
Like, I recognize at least half the songs.
Yeah.
Like, that's impressive for me. So.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's all the time we have today on Citrus TV News.
Yeah, for more of the latest, follow us on Citrus TV News on Twitter or check out our website.
Good night. I'm Louise Rath.
And I'm Josh Myers. Have a great night, Syracuse.